Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for my next upload. So yesterday on Friday the 26th, James Charles made a statement to E! News about the current situation with a communication, shall we say, with a 16-year-old lad. So let's get that tea while it's hot. So, as I said, on Friday, which was yesterday, James Charles made a statement about the allegations of grooming a 16-year-old lad via Snapchat. Now, he clearly states that the accusations are false. However, he does admit to sharing pictures with this 16-year-old lad, but stated that he thought that he was 18. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about this. He said that what happened was that this lad had added him and then, or Snapchatted him or something along those lines. He then added him as a friend on Snapchat and stated the next day that this young lad was super excited. He was super excited. He said that he woke up the next day to a bunch of messages and pictures and that kind of thing with I love you and, the whole, I don't know, just probably like fan mail kind of that he probably should be used to at this point. But I'm guessing that he's maybe doesn't interact as much with his audience. I don't know. He continued to say that he thought that this lad was 18, so he began to flirt. Now, this is all literally in a space of like just a couple of days from what I can see. I think they said it started on the 16th of February. So it wasn't like a long-winded or anything like that. So I think like the grooming might be a little bit of a stretch for anybody. The fact, though, still remains that he was speaking to a child. I just think the wording is a little off. I don't know. I don't know. I think he just should take responsibility and just say, I screwed up. I thought he was 18. Do you know what I'm saying? So this bit here, it says, in the excitement of meeting someone I thought could be potentially great. I didn't ask for a copy of their ID or passport, he continued. It's now clear based on the video upload they were taking photos of me with another device and had an ulterior motive from the beginning. Now, out of everything that I read from the statement, I will link it down below. In the description so that you can go and read it all yourself, because I'm obviously just paraphrasing. But this bit kind of annoyed me. In my opinion, he should have just owned it, but this is kind of blaming him. Whether this is true or not, him as an influencer and as an adult shouldn't like think that he can meet someone on Snapchat and immediately start like flirting, sending pictures, and the pictures were that he admitted and the child admitted were explicit, So this bit kind of annoyed me, which is why I screen grabbed this bit. Just purely, I don't want to say victim blaming, but it kind of is. And whether what James is saying is true or not, it really is irrelevant at this point. You are the adult, he is the child. So whether this child had an ulterior motive, he might well have. But as an adult, that's your responsibility. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think this bit out of the whole part kind of stuck out to me a lot more, just being that you were sitting there kind of saying, oh, well, he had an ulterior motive. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Whether he had an ulterior motive or not, James, it really doesn't matter. In my opinion, you are the adult, he is the child. You should know by now that people are always going to try and screw you over because of who you are and what you are, and being such an, huge influencer that you are. I just don't understand how he can say this. I think this is going to go against him. This is completely victim blaming, but I digress. He did, however, continue to say that once he knew that this lad was 16, he stopped talking to him. He told his friend that he felt very uneasy about it and, just didn't want to continue with the conversation at all. He then stated that he'd spoken to the lad and said how uncomfortable he felt, to which allegedly the little lad said, I'm not going to say little lad because he's not 16, but the lad turned around and said, well, it can be our little secret, we don't have to tell anybody, blah blah blah. Now, I think James absolutely did the right thing there, cut all communications with him. He did then unfollow him and sort of, put it to one side. But again, this is where it goes back to the adult and the child. You being the adult should have known what was going to come when there are so many people that want to see you fall, when you are a big influencer as he is, there's always going to be somebody that's going to want to, I don't know, sort of piece of that pie, I suppose. James has stated that in future he will be IDing all of his matches, that if he finds someone that he thinks is cute or that he, could have a little bit of a thing with, he said that he will be IDing them, and I think that's a really great idea. Like, you can't, even though he is only 21 himself, he's not a 40, 50, 60-year-old guy. He's still an adult in the eyes of the law. So, I just think that's something that he should have been doing from the onset. Now, according to the young lad, he has obviously a different story. He claims that James started making advances to him and was sending him pictures. He stated that he felt very uncomfortable with the situation, and he also stated that he'd told James that he was 16 years of age. Again, these are just allegations, these are just claims, but I think, as the adult, as James is the adult, he really should, be taking more care and preservation for his own, for his own preservation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, James Charles is always going to be somebody, and whether it's a 16-year-old kid or a 60-year-old man, there's always going to be people from all avenues going to want to F you over, and I think you should have done way more to protect yourself. If that is the case, I don't know. I'm just saying what the lad is, obviously his allegations were. He also stated that, he felt that a grown man was talking to him, being that James is a 21-year-old. Now, see, for me, maybe that's just because I'm old. I don't see 21 as a grown man. But I do understand where he's coming from, 16 to 21. There's a huge difference, especially with him being to being who he is. He's James Charles. But according to this young lad, James pestered him for images that he wanted. Again, how true that is, I really don't know. How true James's story is, we don't know. Nobody's going to actually know the truth but them two, unless the, screenshots of everything's put out. I just think it's, I'm going to blame James just purely that if it is, whatever the case, he is the adult in the situation. So whether he genuinely thought this young kid was 18 or not is irrelevant. Whether, this kid told him he was 16 or not, again, you just don't know. So why would you put yourself in a position knowing how far you can fall from grace? I don't understand, but I'm sorry, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but I'm going to blame James and the fact that he doesn't feel that, you know, it's his fault, and we can go back to that statement. So, like I said, I want to go back to this bit just because I think this says it all. And in this exciting meeting of someone that thought he was potentially great, I didn't ask for their ID or their passport, he continued. It's now clear, based on the video upload, which, just as an FYI, I'm going to admit I did not see, taking photos of me with another device and had an ulterior motive from the beginning. Now, again, whether that's true or not, it really doesn't matter. You are the grown-up. And I am going to kind of, even though I completely are blaming James Charles here on this, I am going to stick up for him a little bit, because I think he got such notoriety very early on in life. I don't think he's as mature maybe as somebody who's not an influencer like him at 21, if that makes sense. I honestly think that, you know, he's been pampered a little bit. You know, and Tati have admitted this in some of her videos that she has done, you know, that she very much babied James and got him out of a lot of trouble, and got him, you know, to all these different things and whatnot. Again, this is all just my opinion and my speculation, but as a grown-up, he should have protected his butt more, if that is the case. Or if it's not the case, which kind of what makes me think that it's not, is from this bit, just this bit, because for me, like, this bit should have been not even in there. Why was this bit even in the statement? Because this bit is kind of wanting to blame this lad, and in reality, he could have just said, like, I didn't know, I presumed he was 18, my bad, I'm a piece of shit, I shouldn't have done that. Like, you know, in no way, shape or form would I ever have a relationship with anybody underage. That's not who I am, and dropped it. It would have been so much better. Adding this bit, however, kind of made it more like, oh, well, it's his fault. He had an ulterior motive. He was taking pictures with another device. You are James Charles. You should expect everybody to be taking pictures from another device. You should be expecting everybody to be recording anything you do. As an adult and as a influencer as you are, you should be expecting that on every given conversation, every given interaction with anybody. You should expect it to be either screenshotted, taken pictures of, or screen recorded. There is just no way that you don't. But I digress. I just think this bit is, for me personally, I don't like it. I think it's blaming this kid. However, I don't like the word grooming either. I don't think that you can classify that as grooming. And I think that's putting such a huge word on something that it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? Either way, whoever's telling the truth, whether it is the lad or James Charles, I think putting grooming on it is a bit too much. But that's just my opinion. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I can't help but, you know, blame the adult in the situation. That's just who I am. Although, you know, even if he is half correct, it's still his responsibility as an adult. And as an influencer, surely he would know by now, you know, to cover his butt on all aspects. But again, that's just my opinion. Obviously, all this is just my opinion. You know, it's not factual. I will link the link in the descriptions if you want to go and read the full context. And I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.